Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is powered by Top Producers Nation. As we go throughout all the country here on the 15 different podcast platforms, we are in the studios, of course, here in Tampa, celebrating our Agent Choice Awards event last night. So just a quick note for anybody who came out, thank you, of course, for your support. We had over 300 agents who attended our big event last night, and we gave away 15 awards last night, and it was a lot of fun. So congratulations to all the winners. And you'll see all those winners posted up on our YouTube channel.
Well, 12 awards and 3 certificates.
Oh, that's true. Yes, we did have 3 certificates that we had to run as well. Today we have one of our, so of course this is the podcast that is made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other than real producers here of Tampa Bay, such as really a legend of Tampa Bay real estate. I don't know if people call you that to your face very often, but Mr. Jeff Beggins is in the house with the Beggins Group. I'm sure many of you know Jeff. He's been in this industry for a while. He was actually nominated in his category. I think it was the Icon Award that you were nominated for over 25 years of service in the real estate community here in Tampa Bay. So it's good to have you here, Jeff.
Thank you very much. I got notification of that thing. I'm like, have I been in that industry that long? Am I that old? What the heck? Like,
you don't look it, man. You don't look it. You look good, bro. You look real good.
Thanks.
So I'm sure many people do know a little bit about your story, but maybe not everybody does. So why don't we start a little bit with your background of, you know, what even got you interested initially in real estate? Did you grow up in this market? How'd you get to Tampa? If you didn't, we'll start there.
Cool. All right. Thanks for having me. This will be a lot of fun. And love your podcast, love your magazine, love everything you guys are doing. It's a great service to the industry. So I've been in, it's a really cool legacy story, right? So it's a family business.
Yep.
So my dad, Jim's still involved with the company. My brother, Craig, and even my mom, Vicky, she's over in Apollo Beach as well, working with us. So the story was interesting. So dad was a pilot. He was in the Air Force and then was a pilot.
Okay.
And then like everybody else, they find their way into real estate, right? Nobody ever intends to be in this industry. Everyone just lands here somehow. So this was in the early 70s.
He literally landed from his pilot business.
That's right. So he landed in Miami, was had the top listing office he was managing down in Miami called Turner Realty down there.
Okay.
And there was this new idea coming up at the time, and it was franchising. And it was real estate franchising. There was this couple choices. There was this gold jacket company, and then there was this red jacket company called Red Carpet at the time. And they were kind of battling to see who was going to be what. And Century 21 just had offices in California, and Art Bartley and those guys had this big dream to be the first nationwide real estate organization, right? Okay. So the first franchise sold outside of California was to my dad, right? So he was able to get the master franchise for this area for the state, which at a time meant nothing because nobody knew what the hell Century 21 was at that time. So he went door to door to Don Hill Realty and said, you know what, you really need to become Century 21 Don Hill Realty, and here's why, right? And so did what all of us do, prospect nonstop and try to find some leads, and built it up to about 320 offices, about 4,500 salespeople.
All in Florida?
All in Florida.
Okay.
And
what year was this?
Started in 73
okay.
before me, right? So then he just started growing it and then sold the region. And at that time, Century 21 bought their regions back and just kind of restructured themselves, which may or may not have been a good idea, but we'll see.
Is that still a business model that operates today?
Which one?
The franchising model with like building out those brands on a national level?
In the regional level?
Yeah.
Not really. Not the way it used to be. It used to be, I think, in my opinion, no offense to anybody else who doesn't like this one, but I think that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you can have a core central service offering that can support people with one culture, one voice, one way, right? I think that's a problem in the industry, which we could probably get into later, but I think there's way too many ways, super fragmentation around, and not really any real cohesive way forward. But so that's what I think was interesting about that. So fast forward to that, the regions were bought back, and then this was in Miami at the time. And then so my dad moved the whole family up to Tampa Bay, and he found a piece of property down in this little obscure area at the time called Apollo Beach, right? And Apollo Beach, they had this 83-acre subdivision of this waterfront property, no roads, waters, or sewer yet, in a place called Symphony Isles. Those who are watching probably know the community now. So he ended up buying that and developing that and turning it into homes and townhomes, built a little marina on the beachfront there. And then it was a little company called Symphony Realty at that time. And Symphony Realty sold Symphony Isles, just total niche down farming, right? And then
that was separate from Century 21.
That was Century 21
all
was
separate.
Sold out, sold the region, everything was done.
Oh, okay. So he left Century 21 after that sale. Okay.
And then, so that was in the early 90s.
Yep.
Right? I grew up in Apollo Beach. We lived there. I went to Berkeley Prep here in Tampa. So I did that long commute, waving to the cows every morning. and then grew up there. And then, so Apollo Beach started building up. And then my brother Craig, who's in the business, he's the broker. And we're all brokers. He's the one that goes to jail when the agents screw up.
Yep.
On this one, I'm the backup. So, but
The one with all the liability.
That's right. On that company at least. So then 92, we started Century 21 Beggins Enterprises.
Okay.
And that was Craig, Mom, and a couple agents that are actually still with us. That was it. And in 92. And I was just graduating Berkeley back then.
Okay.
And so then I went off to University of Florida and did all that stuff up there. And then came back into Florida and got my business degree up there. And then came in and said, what do I want to do? And Dad's like, don't touch real estate. It sucks. It's a terrible industry. Run. Just go use your degree and go have fun and figure it out. And then he was really good friends with.
So that meant to you, all right, time to get into real estate,
Right?
I guess.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do that. So at the time, he was good friends with, in real estate, the Ferry organization, right? So you
Sure.
had Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry and Matthew Ferry.
Great coaching
and so
programs.
we kind of grew up with them. His dad's good friends with Mike.
Cool.
And Matthew's still good friends with ours, and Tom's awesome with what he does too. So kind of went through, and I started listening to a lot of the things and got to know, I listened to Superstar Retreats and all those, and I'm like, what? Look at these people. And then I started when I got a job with Ringhaver, Caterpillar, Ring Power, now heavy equipment sales and stuff. And good business, and then the top people were making 100, 150 grand a year, but that was it. So I was tucking my mind. I'm like, that's it. Like, we can do more. And then in my ear, these people that I've seen and watched and saw what they did, and they're making $1 million a year. Right. So how are they doing it? So went to one of the Superstar retreats and met a couple people that were actually doing that and saying, how are you doing that? Actually really inquisitive, because success leaves clues. And so what were they doing? And one of the guys was here in Tampa. And I said, can I just shadow you for a couple of days? I just want to see if you want to do what you do. And he was actually kicking back, and he had an auto dialer, and he was just making a couple hundred calls a day. Somebody would answer, kick into the script, right, set a couple of appointments. I'm like, that's it. And he was kicking back, legs up, cup of coffee.
Sure.
Just doing a script from memory. I was like, that's pretty interesting. Then you see more and more. I'm like, well, there's nothing special.
Yeah.
Right, hard worker, but there's nothing like, it's not a superstar. It's not 12 feet tall. Right, so anybody can do that. And then you start to see all the people that can do this. You're like, all right, what is it? And then, so long story short, I wrote a little letter saying, I'm coming in. I don't need anything. Let me try to prove it. I'm going to follow the system and see what we can do. And then just became a listing machine. Right, my whole concept was putting on. At the time I had a little apartment, and a little 1-bedroom apartment. I took a door right from Home Depot and put it sideways on the wall, put my vision boards up, had my mirror up there, had my scripts, had my dialogues, had my affirmations, all the stuff.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I had two
I'm a Tony
headsets.
Robbins guru there, so I could see all the visualization.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there, and I'd have my 2 phones, my 2 headsets, and I would just dial, right? Just dial, because you start with one, and you're like, well, okay, well, then you spend so much time, and people are hanging up on you, and you're like, that dead time, voicemails, all that stuff. So like introducing 2 phones, so you get 2 phones going, then you can increase your effectiveness. It's got up to about 35 contacts an hour, and FSBO's expired, circle prospecting, just sold, all that stuff, and then started getting listings, and then getting them sold.
Was this under the Beggins Enterprises?
This is Beggins.
It was. Okay.
This is under Beggins, and just came as an agent.
So even though your dad was like going into real estate, he still had that, and you decided to do it anyway.
Correct. Correct. As a good kid would do, resist their parents, right? So then it became fun, and it became an interesting business. And then from a company perspective, we started doing a lot more trainings, and then recruiting, and then coaching, and then more agents would start prospecting. We'd kind of get little prospecting sessions going, and just leading by example, right, on that one. So, and at the time I was still just fresh out of Gainesville, so I still had a lot of friends and a girlfriend at the time up there, so I would want to go screw around on the weekends. So you can only way in real estate to really have control over your own schedule is to be a listing agent.
Sure.
Right. So that's all I focused on. I hated buyers, right? The whole buyer side of the business, I just don't like it still, but it's a necessary part of the business. So it's just listings, refer out the buyers, take a referral fee, and just go. Then you can actually have a life and keep your inventory and stay in touch. So then that started growing, and we grew the Apollo Beach office, and then as a group, Beggins Enterprises, we got a Sun City Center office, and then Dad and I moved over to the beaches. And there was a Madeira Beach office, and then Indian Rocks Beach office, and then a lot of you here in Tampa know a company called List. John Lum, List Realty, List Developers, did a bunch of projects here.
Yep.
So John Lum and I got involved in a project over on the beach. It was an RV park we bought and redeveloped and rezoned, and we became good friends. And he had a little company here called List Realty.
Okay.
He was a pilot. Kind of funny how these things.
There's a connection
circle
there,
around,
yeah.
connects. So he comes down. It was landed in South Tampa was the name of his company. So he said, "Why don't we just? You're good at developing. We're good at real estate. Let's just join forces." So that's why our Tampa office is called List with Beggins. List with Beggins. Get it?
Yep.
So that's that one. So we have Beggins Enterprise. We have List with Beggins. Now we have an office. Then we open up an office in Sarasota. We've got Longboat Key, Sun City.
It's a beautiful
Brandon.
area.
Yeah, it is over there. And then the beaches. And then so that's kind of how we've been growing. And then we started.
How many locations do you have now?
We have 10 brick and mortar.
Okay.
And a whole new virtual segment.
When did you reconnect with Century 21 again?
That was 90s too. Right?
It was,
Yep.
okay.
That's when went back in. So this is our 6th year in the franchise renewal. So, and it's a great organization, and they've really reinvented itself. For a while there, it was kind of a little tired, and but the leadership in there, Mike Meadler, the CEO, and that is really good. They refreshed everything. Their technology is top notch. It's just really good for us and really good for the agents, and nothing wrong with any one of them, but it's really good for us, what we do.
And you said you have about 700 agents?
Yeah, topping almost 750 now. So we have another company called Century 21 BE3, and stands for Empower, Educate, and Encourage, right? So what that model is it's outside of Tampa Bay, and it's a virtual model.
Okay.
So we have a bunch of agents in Miami. We got agents in Panama City, Pensacola, Tallahassee, Vero Beach, Orlando, Lakeland, and grow to expand that nationwide. And we're actually going down to Brazil.
Is that a Century 21 thing, or is that your own kind of build?
It's our own franchise, but it is still underneath branded. So it's a company without the offices, so we're able to a lot more attractive split models because our expenses are really low.
For sure.
So we're seeing really explosive growth in that one too.
That's cool.
And then
how many agents do you have in that?
We've got 750 total with all of them.
Yeah.
So we're over probably close to 150 in that one right now.
Do you find it like easier in some ways, more challenging to have when you have a comparison, a distinction between your brick and mortar locations and your agents that you guys are managing through those brick and mortar offices compared to the ones that are 100% virtual? What's that distinction like in your experience?
It's an interesting question on that one. So even the brick and mortars are in essence virtual, right? Because the majority
they're not there all the time.
Don't come in,
yeah.
Right. But you're still able to connect. Like what we do as a company is every morning, right? 9:00 every morning, live broadcast, right? Open forum every single day to wherever you are, mobile, everything. And so it's every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we have masterminds every Friday. Then we have group talks. We have different segments that go on. So nonstop. So we were able to have that connection with people as if they are at the local branch. So that was kind of our big issue was kind of one voice, one culture, one way.
Who runs
system.
those live broadcasts?
Myself, my brother, right?
Nice.
We have really awesome leadership team.
That's cool.
And I think the key
you're just doing training every day through those.
Every day, it's training, coaching, masterminds, and
some positive recognition, that kind of thing.
Everything.
Yep.
And then with all the changes going on in the industry right now, you got to stay ahead of it. You got to be on top of it. And so it's an interesting time in the business. So we're excited, kind of moving ahead of where we think it's going. And we're excited about that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. With your experience, so do you still do self-production as well?
I do development now.
Okay.
Right. So I live in Madeira Beach.
Yep.
And so we love that town so much, and a lot of opportunities have come that way. And so we're doing a big hotel. We're doing a Marriott Autograph hotel we're building called the Beachmaker.
Nice.
And that we just haven't really officially announced it yet, but Business Journal just
did.
announced it last week. Now I think we just did. The Beachmaker Resort.
Nice.
.com. Check it out. But what we're doing, we're selling 161 condo hotels, and we're going to do a revenue split with all the owners on that one. So we do that. We're building some townhomes and some condos and some large vacation rentals and really just finding the voids and the niches in the markets and building what's not there. And I love the vacation market, and that beach is just awesome. So that's kind of the only production I really do is selling out those projects. I'm a little control freak on the project, so I like to be the point and get those going. So that's kind of where my production is from.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay. So from your perspective now, Jeff, how has, I'm assuming obviously the real estate market has changed since the early 90s compared to what you've seen over the years with the ebbs and the flows. But what is your opinion on the market today, on where it's at, and what gets you excited when you look forward to the future, where you think things are going, where if do you have any concerns about where some of these things are going and how that's going to be dealt with? What are some of those thoughts there?
I think it's a great question, and I know there's a lot of different opinions on what's going on there. But what I'm excited about is when the market's doing what it's doing right now, which is a little stagnation, right? It forces good people back into sales, right? And I think there's a lot of people, and not to their fault, but they entered into a market when it was really easy, right? It's really not hard to sell 3% interest, right? With a properties that's appreciating 20%, right? It was like shooting fish in a barrel,
right?
And so there wasn't a requirement for a tremendous amount of business acumen, right? Focus, skill set, practice, right? Really spot on sales. So what I see this is happening now is kind of a land grabs going on with the good agents that are able to really scoop up market share, because you have a lot of agents that are a little paralyzed right now, saying, what's going on? My listings are expiring. I'm not getting the traffic, and my sellers are pissed at me. What's happening? And it's weird, right? And so you got to always go back to the fundamentals on any business. So this is a time in the industry that if you're not going into fundamentals and you're not going back to basics, you're not sharpening your sales skills, your communication skills, you're going to be left behind, right? Especially with the NAR ruling coming in with the buyer side of the business, that's going to shake up a lot of people. But those who are already grasping onto it right now, they're going to kill it. They're just going to totally crush it.
We've had some people on. Michael Wyckoff came on here last week. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah, I know him real well.
President of Pro last year. So we talked a little bit about that, about the NAR settlement, as well as the potential merger between the two associations that he's working on pretty tirelessly right now to try to get through. But what type of I guess my question is, as a leader, when you have these 750 agents in your organization and something like that type of a settlement comes down, right? Like, is there an immediate freak out with a lot of different agents that you're trying to put out fires? Or are you handling that with some consistent training, like as part of your daily podcast that you were talking about? How did you approach that type of a change? How some people would view that as a pretty big deal, right? A mega change. So what was that reaction like from the agents in your team? And do you view it as an opportunity, or what's your thought?
Great question on that one. So the initial reaction is to not react, right? Which I think a lot of people did a little too early on that one, because the reality of it is what it is, right? So you've got to adjust and absorb truly what it is and adapt to it. So what it truly is something so simple, right? It doesn't need to be blown up the way the media is blowing it up, right?
Yeah.
What happens in the short version, there's a data field that's now eliminated, and we have to put our clients on a contract. That's it.
Right.
Somewhere that's all that happened on this one. But the ramifications of that, it's different. It's changed, and people don't like change. And no, that's not the way I used to do it. I hate it. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
The industry's dead. Now discounters, 1% don't have to pay. All the other stuff can spiral people out of control. And I know several people that are still spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
But the smart business people are saying, wait a second. So what we're training on it is, all right, on average, a buyer comes in contact with 17 people from the time they drinking one night, clicking on Zillow about a dream to move to Tampa or wherever it is in the world, to the time they pop into some open houses, hit on Redfin, hit on Homes, hit on Realtor, pop into Starbucks, see a guy with a name tag on. They're in touch with 17 agents across the board, right? So now the smart agents say, wait a second. As soon as I meet them, all I have to do is sharpen my presentation and my communication and my skills and be able to just connect with you and say, man, let me interview for the job. Nobody knows this area better than me, man. I'd love to be your guy.
Yeah.
Right. And let me interview for the job. Let me show you what we do. Let me show you how I represent you. And here's how we do it. We got to put you under contract. I'm going to commit to you. Need you to commit to me, and let's go to work.
And that's where the training can come in, right? Because that might 100%. Be, I saw a stat somewhere that it was like less than 10% of buyers agents ever even have that conversation. Like they don't get buyer's agreements, I guess, as a fairly common.
Because you're afraid. You're like, I don't want to scare them.
I don't want to scare them away. Right.
But now the smart people are saying, come, right?
Yeah.
So, because as soon as I get you on my contract, you're mine.
Exactly.
Everybody else is boxed out.
Right.
The other 16 people, they're screwed. They don't even have a shot.
Right.
Because now you're mine.
Right.
All I have to do is do a good job, which I hope you're doing, and you are, as one of the top producers around here.
Yeah.
And so, but that's it. So look at it as a huge opportunity for a land grab, because you're going to just put all these people on contracts and they're as good as like an exclusive listing because they're your guy, they're your girl, they're your couple.
Yep.
And so everybody else who's afraid of it, they're going to be sitting around with not only no listings because they don't work the listing side of the market. Now their buyers are gone too because everyone they run into is, oh man, I love you, but I signed a contract with Don.
Yeah.
Right? And it's over. It's an exclusive contract. So I think you're going to see the smart, aggressive, skilled salespeople, right, totally taking advantage of this marketplace and cranking up their market share, and a lot of people left on the sidelines. So if you're not embracing this stuff, you need to, big time right now.
Yeah, and I do see the value in that, right? Like you would think that that's how somebody would deal on the listing side, right? Is making sure that you had a listing agreement in place. So to me, it makes a lot of sense as a buyer's agent to learn that same skill set, because I think most buyer's agents probably want to eventually get into listings anyway, right? So if you can develop that pitch presentation, those skills that's required to be influential enough to provide, to be able to express your value enough that people are willing to sign an agreement with you, you might as well get good at it on the buyer side. So eventually you can end up doing both, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And back to, as you mentioned, Tony Robbins type of stuff, right? If the communication breakdown, it's 7% word, 38 is just the body language,
tonality,
55 tonality and body language, right?
Yeah.
So most people forget to spend the time on the easiest part, the 7%. Just get into your spiel. Oh, you want to buy? I'd like to interview for the job. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Done. Just go on autopilot and pay attention to how they're sitting, how they're talking, how they're breathing, how they're blinking, and you're going to find people connected with you, and there's going to be no resistance because they trust you, they like you, and they're done.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm really excited about, that change.
And the risk for agents who don't do that, right, is that now with this change, they're not necessarily guaranteed the commissions that they would have been before, right, on the back end.
Yeah.
Right.
No shot. And
Exactly.
because if they don't have it signed, they can't get paid.
Right. Unless it's coming from the listing side where they've agreed to it in advance that the listing agent has had their seller agree that they're going to pay the buyer's agent something, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's going to have to be documented somewhere along the way.
Right. But it can't be listed. It can't be promoted in the MLS that way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Until they figure that out.
Right.
So which changes everything. So those who are relying
So really you lose all your control as a buyer's agent if you don't get good at that skill set.
You're out of business.
Yeah.
Right. And then think about those who are dependent on lead flow, right? If you're buying leads, I would be nervous right now.
Yeah.
Because what are you paying for? You're paying for a name that necessarily doesn't have to buy with you and doesn't have to necessarily guarantee your payment. And so you're going to pay, and any of those agents paying 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month in Zillow.
Sure.
Spend right now to get leads that aren't necessarily going to produce an income for you. So I think that whole model is going to shift. So I think you're going to go back to the fundamentals of those who are figuring out how to create their own destiny are going to survive, and those who are just kind of hoping for inflow, it's going to be difficult on that, in my opinion. We'll see.
What are some of your best practices, Jeff, from an organizational standpoint to support the agents that work with you, whether that's through lead programs or through the training side that you've already mentioned? Do you focus in your training mostly on like just teaching your agents how to be self-sufficient so that they can grow their own book of business? Or do you have certain brokerage type programs where they are dependent on you guys for certain things? What's been best practice for you guys?
Good question. There's both, right? So the long-term, true successful one is the teach them how to fish concept, right? So, and there's so many segments to that. It's the mindset, right? Without the proper mindset, the rest is useless, right? So it's mindset, motivation, skills, action, and accountability, right? So you have to have a cohesive group through every one of those steps to be a well-rounded business person in any way. We're all entrepreneurs, right? But you got to control your mind. There's so many negative things that we could attach to that'll throw you off track. And so mindset's the number one thing, right? So we work a lot with getting that mindset right, getting into the business, because a lot of people, top producers especially, right? Top producers most especially get ignored sometimes because everyone thinks they're good.
Yeah.
But the world's shifted,
right,
and they're not good.
Yeah.
And their business is way down, and because the market shifted. So we got to come back into readjusting the mindset and reminding them about the motivation. What are you actually doing this for? Let's get focused on it. How much money do we really need to come in every month or every quarter to put a big ass smile on your face? And then, because people are like, I need business. Well, how much? I don't know, a lot. No, you don't, right? You need 30 grand to come in. Let's break it down to simplicity. Let's get the mindset right. Let's figure out we're just going to go get 20, 30 grand this month, which is crazy to think in an industry you just make up whatever you want to make and go get it, right? But we're blessed to be able to do that. So then you get your motivation of what I'm going to do it. Then where's our lowest hanging fruit? Because every one of us has a different easy path. And if you're honest with yourself, you're not going to do the hard path for long. You can trick yourself and try it for a little bit, but if you hate it, you're going to eventually give it up.
Right.
So what's the lowest hanging
tend
fruit?
to naturally gravitate towards the easy path.
Correct.
For sure.
Right. So if you grew up here and you've got a huge ass sphere of influence from high school on and all the different networking sessions, why the hell are you knocking on a FSBO door? It's stupid, right? You hate it, it's hot and all that stuff. But so learn who you are, get the self-awareness out there, and just go with the path of least resistance and just dig all in. If it's 30 grand, you make it 10 grand a sale, you need 3 deals. Take the pressure off yourself. Now let's just figure out where we're going to get our 3 deals from, right? So that's the mindset, the motivation. Then you have the skills. You don't have to learn all the skills. Let's just get really good at X, Y, or Z, put some blinders on and focus for the quarter and go get that money, right? And then just take the action, and then you have to have some accountability. People saying, all right, what am I going to do next? I need to make my 15 connections today, right? But who's watching you? Right? What happens if you go home and do your dishes and pet your cat?
Right.
No one's going to kill you, right? You're an independent contractor. So where's that leverage, that external accountability that you need to say, if I don't do my 15 today, I suck, right? Whether it's you, your spouse, your dog, your cat, your broker, your manager, your coach, doesn't matter. But somebody's got to be there at the end of that line to make sure mindset's there, motivation, skills are on
Where's
point,
the accountability?
action and accountability. So all of those components have to be in. So we focus on every one of those steps because everyone needs it. Every one of us needs it, myself included, you, everybody. Every one of us has to. It's like a cylinder, right? They're not always all up,
right?
So you got to pump them up.
And that goes back to why you have the daily calls, it sounds like, because
Every
that's you're managing that mindset on a daily basis, as we all are,
right? To
be able to stay consistent once you've identified what those goals are, right? That
training is never over, right? There's no, I'm good at real estate. Bullshit. It does not exist, right? No one's, you might be good at real estate, but it's master's level continuing education on a daily basis.
Yep.
Right? We've brokered almost 75,000 transactions now. We still get surprised. Holy shit, I haven't seen that before.
Right.
Right. And then that becomes a learning lesson. Like right now, Craig's doing one of the broadcasts. It's Master the Contract Friday. Right. So we pick up some lessons that happen along the week. And Joe Dina, one of our managers from South Tampa's on with Craig, and they're going through the issues that happen with a couple of deals and case studies, and people comment, add in, and do. So you learn every day. If you're not learning, guys, you're especially in an industry that's maneuvering as fast as it is, you're going to be left behind on this one.
What does the org chart look like of your organization? How is it structured with the support, the leadership layers? Obviously, do you have different layers of agents even that are treated, maybe not necessarily treated differently, but like in terms of organization, what does that look like as far as how you structured it?
Good question. So we function almost as of course, the broker, but almost as the team leader, if you will, right? Because when you go take a listing or a buyer contract, all the loops are done and dot loop, everything's done. The compliance team takes it. We enter everything. We make sure the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Compliance is done. Signs go up, order done. All the photos are done. We do Zillow showcase. Everything gets done the way it's supposed to be done because you as an agent, your highest and best use is what? Talking to people, right? So all the non-income producing activities, we really try to take away from the agents to let them go get their 3 deals, right? Whatever that takes. So we have a leadership team we're just blessed to have from a skill set and a training abilities, and everyone's on the same page with where we're going as the company and the mindset. So we really provide all the support for them to really free them up to do. And then we have local.
So that support is also staffing, right?
Staffing.
Staffing. Yeah.
We got managers at all the brick and mortars, right? But they don't have any fiscal management responsibility except recruiting, training, and coaching, and holding people accountable. And so that's it, because that's what the agents need. It's like, hey, I haven't seen you, get your ass in here, what's going on, right? And you're like, hey, I'm fine, don't mess with me this month, life is good, or I'm having a meltdown, help me back on track, right? Because we're all of us, and every month are one of those, right? So so that's it. So it's really connecting with the group and acknowledging what they want. We kind of work on a quarter by quarter basis. So like, what do you want for Q2? Like, what is the end game? And what level do you need it? How important is it to you? How much accountability do you want us to pat your back, kick your ass? Like, what are you right now? Yeah. Because the 1 year ago version of you is different than the 2 year from now version of you, way different than the 3-year-old version of you. And we've got agents been with us for 30 years, right? So they go through these whole evolutions of, oh shit, I need money. I'm on the hamster wheel. I finally figured out my business. I'm consistent now.
The roller coaster,
cash.
we
what do I
call
do
it,
with
right?
my cash? Do I invest? Do I save? So you kind of take that different role as they go through their hierarchies, right? Where are they to go next, right? And help them out.
So in these 10 different locations that you have, the brick and mortar ones, each one has a manager, right? That you're saying that runs it. Is there one manager in each one of these locations, or is there multiple?
It depends on the number of agents in each one. Like the South Shore area, there's Chris and Jimmy are phenomenal, and they kind of oversee the Sun City, Apollo Beach, and Brandon, kind of split duties on there. And then Joe Diener's handling Tampa. I've got Caitlin and Kathy and Rachel over on the beach offices. We've got Kat down in Sarasota. And then we got Mike Puma and Jessica Roman up in Hernando, Pasco County. And we got Juliana down in Miami. We got Mike up in Panama City. We got Levada up in Pensacola. And we've got Sean up in Tallahassee. So everyone's got the person that's there to run with them.
And then does each office also have a support staff that is helping with all those admin things, like you said, like once the deal comes, the checklist of what to do so that the agent can focus on meeting with and prospecting, as you said.
We centralize all of that.
Okay.
All of that from all locations. Just they run really efficiently and very lean, and the core office is run out of the Apollo Beach.
Got it. And then the 10 office managers, they report to you?
They report to, you've got Craig as the broker of record on there, and I'm support on that. And then we've got we have a whole accounting staff, we have a back office staff, we have an inputting staff, a contract staff, a closings department, and for the whole company everywhere around. So
got it.
Cohesive, easy, streamlined, and it works pretty well.
Cool. I appreciate you breaking that down. I think it's interesting to see how different people, there's so many different ways that people structure their organizations, you know? I've learned, and it's just fun to see. And there's different ways to be successful at it, right? And you've obviously done very well with the way you've done yours. I'm curious, what do you find the most fulfilling about the business that you've built? Like, what is it about it that that resonates with you the most?
It is, I'll tell you, this last week we've been doing awards banquets with our different agents, just recognizing the national award winners. And normally we do a bigger one. This year we're doing them independent, really more connecting one-on-one with them all. And culture-wise, depending on the issues, like, for example, went to Stillwell House in Tampa, we got a floating tiki bar in the beaches, right?
Yeah.
So it really kind of depends on what goes on. But I'll tell you what was interesting is we kind of go around from a gratitude perspective, like, what are you really grateful for and what's going on? And to watch the evolution of people's lives is really touching, right? And you get people that started out not knowing shit about anything, right? Not having the mindset to be an entrepreneur, because it's tough, guys. It's difficult. This is not an easy business. It beats the crap out of you. It really does. So you got to be strong.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
It is, and so many people are connected to you throughout your transaction. It's draining, right? So we've got to have that support. But seeing people come in, like, they watch HGTV, they think real estate's easy, just go show people houses and do it. It's not, we all know it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So it's about getting into the business and watching them get competence and confidence, right? Which is, if you drop me into a pipe fitting business tomorrow, I'm going to suck at it because I don't know any of those skills, right? So you got to take time to learn the skills and the crafts and the trades in order to do that. So what I love watching is the people that go from that step and the first deals, right? And then the second deals, and then their first international award level. And then holy shit, I got $200,000 in the bank. What do I do now, right? Right? You paying your taxes? Good question. Right. But then as they start getting more in that evolution and get consistency, it's helping them invest in projects, right? And they find a piece of land and build a duplex and sell one and keep one. And then it's starting to get to what is their next level for their life is really what we push it. So it's about empower, educate, encourage is kind of our overall mantra. So it's like what's going to put, we always say, what puts a big ass smile on your face? Because that question is universal. Yeah. And everyone has a different answer depending on what stage of life that you're in. Like, so this quarter, what will put a big ass smile on your face at the end of this quarter, looking back, what was that? Yeah. And then we just kind of focus on that. So for us, it's watching the people.
So a lot of what you're describing is the relationship with your team, obviously, with your agents, right?
And we have a really strong
watching
connection.
the evolving of their, chasing their dreams and hitting their goals, and seeing what they're growing at as a result of all of that.
That's right.
As a team leader, what role, Jeff, does your recruiting operation play in your business in terms of, are you guys really aggressive with your growth numbers in terms of trying to recruit more and more agents on a consistent basis? Do you allow recruiting to be more organic, where it just kind of comes more through like your agents referring people that they think should be in the business? Like, how do you try to, what are your expectations from a recruiting standpoint?
From a recruiting standpoint, a lot of it is organic from relationships over the years. And moving sucks. It just does. Changing offices is difficult, annoying. It's sidetracking. And so nobody wants to be recruited. There's too many, in my opinion, I think there's too many companies that just focus solely on that and not real estate. So people need to sell real estate. So we focus on real estate and doing it well. and that brings organic attraction of different agents in there. So we're not the call you all the dime recruit type of deal on our brick and mortars. Now our expansion model is a lot more like that because it's a different recruiting model. But here in Tampa Bay, it's not numbers. We want cool people that we want to hang around with, that we like, that like us, that we want to help be part of each other's lives. So I don't want to have 5,000 people, right? I want to have another 450 of them or something here in Tampa, and good ones that actually have some drive and want to grow a real sustainable business that's consistent that they can pass on one day, right? And it's true real estate, is it?
Makes sense. Yeah. How long is your interviewing process go? They have to go through multiple stages before they officially get accepted onto the team? Is that how it's been structured?
It's fun. So a lot of times we're wide open, transparent with what we do. So if somebody wants to come on board, we're like, hey, before you do, let's get to know each other for real.
Yeah.
Here's a code, here's a link, watch our trainings, go onto our websites, kind of check out what we're doing, follow our YouTube channel, see kind of our attitude, see what we say. If we're going to offend you, rather know now, right? And really see if this is the type of company you want to be with. And so before we even get into any real talks, it's like, hey, I like your vibe, I like your style, I think we could be good business partners. And then from there, we'll get into what's going on. So it really starts with hey, I'm interested, tell me more, say, here we are. And if you like that, let's talk. And then so that's kind of the way it's.
Okay. So you allow it to happen organically based on feel us out for a little bit and see how it goes.
Feel us out. Let's feel you out. Let's see if you like the vibe, if you like the energy, great. And if you think we can help each other's businesses grow, let's do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, Jeff, that you have a lot of your seems like time right now and excitement on the development side and some of the hotels and some of these commercial projects it sounds like that you're involved with. Yeah. Is that a department or an angle for other agents as well within your organization that are maybe investing in that world or that just want to be involved in that world? Is that something you guys train on at all?
We do, and especially here in the Tampa office, with John Lum is such a phenomenal leader and partner in our Tampa office, and has so much development experience. So he helps the agents find lots, split lots, develop it, hook them up with the builders, developers, contractors, engineers to build their own if they want to. He's got phenomenal relationships with different builders. So a lot of our agents will go hunt land and bring in the builders, inspect the houses, and sell those. Yep. Those agents are now accumulating enough wealth. They're investing in their own. When we do our projects, we offer investment equity pieces just to our agents up front and say, you could put in 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever you want to do, if you want to be part of the development team and owner. Like of the hotel, I've got a dozen probably agents that are owners in the Marriott with us, and which is an opportunity most people don't get, right?
Totally.
On that. Yeah. So it's about helping them figure out what's their investment strategy, what do they actually want to do, and it's coaching them to get their dreams. Because ultimately the dream, in my opinion, everyone's dream revolves around peace, right?
Yeah. Building financial freedom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is that
not have to worry about where the next paycheck's coming.
That number of, if I need 30 grand a month or 20 grand a month to come in, what can you invest in now that'll spit off that 20 grand a month?
Totally.
So you can do this for sport, right?
And that's an end game for many people right. It's like, what pieces do I have to put into place to get there, right?
Right. Yeah. And that goes back to the beginning processes. That's the end game. So we need to stack up some cash. So let's go, what are your normal expenses? Let's go get that. And how much do we need to pay your taxes? Let's go get that. And how much extra can we stuff away? So if you have an extra 120 grand at the end of the year, let's either deploy that or let's save it so it's 240 next year. And then let's go buy a little 6-unit building, or let's go put into one of the projects, or buy crypto. I don't care. Do something right with that business. So it's really that long-term plan.
Yeah, one of my mentors would always preach the concept of you have to first build massive cash, and then you can translate it into passive cash, right?
That's it. That's it.
And that's really the principles behind what you just said, building that wealth strategy. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
One more question on the business, and then we'll probably take a couple of minutes on just some personal things for people to get to know you more. But from a business side, what would you think is the biggest challenge that you deal with now, after the years that you've been in the business? Is there still something that kind of challenges you that comes up more than once that is still part of the business that maybe you wish didn't exist, or you just feel like it's a challenge and you embrace it for what it is?
I think it's the first thing that comes to my mind on that one is being around people that don't realize they're as good as they are. Right, which is a confidence, competence, and mindset game. And there's too many people sell themselves short, right, way too early in this business. And I mean, guys, this is the universal level is entrepreneurship and business, right? everybody can do what we do if they're committed to doing it and driven enough to do it.
Yep.
So it's about people that don't give it as much as they could, or they give up before they should have, and they don't push through, right? That's kind of, so I want more for them than they do for themselves a lot of times. And if I see them not reaching for what I know they're capable of, it's frustrating, right, for that too.
Yeah.
And then so we stay on them, and some don't, and some do. Right? That's the world. So I wish people could see how fortunate we are in this industry. We mentioned it earlier. And really, where else can you say, you know what, I'm going to make 30 grand next month, and then you just go down that street,
Put a
that
plan
has
together
those
and
houses,
just do it.
and you're going to make 30 grand, or you can struggle.
And it's not a guessing game. Like, you know what needs to be done. It's just, this is the numbers.
This is it.
The question is will you execute those steps, right?
Correct. And then it goes back to what's above that. Is that motivation strong enough to let you push through the negative crap that's going to go along with that, which is done, I don't want to sell, get out of my face.
Right.
Right. Is that going to put you in a corner?
Right.
Then we need to work on your mindset a little bit, so
Right.
that doesn't do that. Right. So that's kind of the frustration, is being more, right? Because there's so much abundance out there, man. There's anything you want, and this industry gives us the ability to go get it.
Yeah, man.
And so it's that, you know.
I can relate a lot to what you're saying. I used to run have you heard of Cutco, the knife company?
Oh yeah.
So I was, I'm in the Cutco Hall of Fame. If you go to Ole in New York, you'll see.
All right.
I was there for 12 years. That was where I learned and cut my teeth in sales.
That's sales.
Yeah, it really was. And I built the team, though. I was a division manager in Connecticut and New York. That was my territory. But we had thousands of sales reps, mostly college kids.
Yep.
And it was always the most frustrating thing for me, as once we had the teams. And at one point we had 13 offices that we developed. And there were some really talented young kids, that I knew had it in them to be able to be rock stars in the sales game, and they would just quit too early, and that always bothered me the most about the business, is like, man, we can't believe in you more than you believe in you.
Correct.
Right? And if you're willing to just cut through this crap, there's such a bright future on the other side if you can just see where you're heading, see where you're going. And that, I can relate a lot to what you said, because that was really probably the most frustrating thing that I went through too, was seeing people quit on themselves so early.
So is it DNA or is it environmental impacts at that point?
I think it's both.
Right?
I think it's both. Yeah, no doubt. There's certain DNA things that people have ingrained in them, and it's hard for them to overcome that unless they do the work. Because that's where, like, investing in yourself comes in a lot. The Tony Robbins programs and other coaching programs, and there is a lot of things that we can do to help us get through those obstacles. But that's an intentional and an investment in somebody who's willing to do the work to grow in that way. Right?
You physically have to shield away all the negative crap, because it is so everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've watched one news broadcast and I can't even tell you how long.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come on.
I can relate to that too.
Right? You can't, or else, but you do, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Right? You're done, and then
No
you
doubt.
start talking about that with other people, and then down here with everybody else.
Yeah, our mindset is the most powerful thing, for sure. So it's cool to hear you talk about how that's a big priority, it sounds like, as part of your daily coaching programs.
Yes.
Is managing that mindset. I think that's awesome. All right, so for a couple of rapid fire things, Jeff, for people to get to know you a little bit. So do you have a favorite book or author or seminar even that you've attended, or even a podcast that you feel like has made a huge impact on you personally or professionally?
Yes, I'll tell you. I think we mentioned earlier Matthew Ferry, right?
Yeah.
A good friend who's a personal coach of mine, and Creating Sales Velocity is a book that he put out a new version of it right now, and it is fantastic.
Cool. I haven't read that.
Creating Sales Velocity is Audible on it as well, and a lot of that goes back to kind of just our philosophies just mesh up really well, and it's really the connection. It's sales. It's people. We're not in real estate. We're in the people communications business. We forget that sometimes. And all it relies to is, can people trust you? They feel comfortable with you. And how are you going to build that? And you better know your market, right? Or that's just a fundamental thing. You better understand the area that you're working, or you're going to be out of business. So assuming you get that down, now it's just finding people. And when you find them, you better connect with them. And it just goes a lot deeper. So I recommend that book.
It's great. Creating Sales Philosophy. We haven't heard that recommendation yet. I appreciate it. What's a hobby of yours? What do you love to do? What keeps you excited, passion-wise, on that front?
I'll tell you, I got a couple of kids. I've got an 8-year-old boy, a 4-year-old girl, and so they keep me busy, which puts a lot of the hobbies aside at the moment, right? And,
Well, their hobbies become your hobbies,
are
right?
my hobbies for sure. And no, but we love going to the beach. I live right there in Madeira. We go on the boat, go out to the sandbar, and just kind of everything. Beach coastal living, man.
You live the beach life, huh?
We live in the beach life.
That's pretty neat.
It's nothing like it. It's really
We're up
cool.
in Land O'Lakes. I have 5 kids ourselves. They're all under 10.
All right.
So our house is just a zoo.
Yep.
And my 2 boys are really into baseball right now. So we've been investing. Actually, tomorrow's big baseball day. Saturdays are always our big baseball day now.
Yes.
But they're really getting into it. So yeah, my oldest son he'll turn 9 in July. He's 8 right now. And then we have a boy who's 7. So they keep us busy, and our 3 daughters are really into dance. So we got a lot going on from that front, so I can relate.
Yep. My wife she just went to dance class yesterday, and kids doing all those things, really into piano and music, and it's just fun. It's fun to watch their interests.
Do you guys like to travel at all?
We do. Actually, my wife's from Germany, and we have a house over there.
Nice.
And so when the kids go out from school, they all go over for about 6 weeks, and then I join in towards the end, and we all come back together.
That's neat.
And they're all fluent German, and they speak. They got a family over there too.
Oh, that's cool. What part of Germany?
Koblenz, about an hour north of Frankfurt, over on that side.
I'm half German, but I've never been.
Yeah? I was just talking with somebody on the way, and they're going to go over next week. So it's just neat to travel and just throw those experiences out there. And as you know, our job now is just to instill confidence, self-confidence, and experiences to kids.
Yeah.
Right? And still, having some fun doing what we're doing. So
that's the real trick. That's the real mindset training right there, right?
No doubt.
What we teach our agents, making sure we're developing that same value for our families.
And ourselves, too, because we slip, too. We got to always go back to refocusing ourselves as well.
No doubt. So last question I'll have for you, Jeff, is, I guess not quite the last one, but 2 more. At some point when you're sitting down at that rocking chair years from now and looking back on your legacy, right, and what you want to be most remembered for, what do you think is most important to you in terms of what you would want to be most remembered for, what you'd want your legacy to be?
That's quite a question. That's quite a question right there. I think the passion into what I do is, I think, what some people will remember me for, and really caring about the people that I'm associated with and helping them, and then leaving strong, confident kids, right? And then a passion of mine is also doing a lot of ocean habitat restoration work, so I want to continue to make a big impact on that. And then so I think hopefully we changed a lot of people's lives and help them live a better one, while having a good one myself and for the family too.
Very cool. How big is the Beggins family, by the way, with your brothers and your parents are still in the business? It sounds like.
Yeah. So good. So my dad, I'll tell you his age through a joke from my son. So, my son Kai, he said, "All right. So what did Grandpa say to the pirate?" He said, "I'm 80." Right. So Grandpa just turned 80, and he's the oldest of 11 kids.
Wow.
Right. Little Irish Catholic going on there, and so. His birthday was a couple weeks ago, so we have a bunch of them flying in right now. People are flying in all throughout the day, and we're having a big party this weekend.
That's awesome.
So tonight they're all staying at one of the hotels, and Saturday we got the big giant tiki boats going out. We're going to hang out at the sandbar all day.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
then we got a big pizza sunset party.
Beggins Bash this weekend,
Beggins Beach Bash, baby, Madeira Beach. And then on Sunday, my son's birthday is actually in January, but it's cold, and he's a beach kid. So we always like to celebrate his birthday later. So it's kind of almost end of the year school party. So behind one of our hotels over there, we own the schooner in Madeira Beach. We're putting a big water slide up, and got pools and bars and music and stuff going on. So we're going to have a big old bash. So it's a huge beach party weekend. So
that's neat.
Dad's one of 11. So I've got uncles and aunts and cousins all over the place, literally all over the world. And Mom's one of 5. And
there you go.
So we've got a bunch of people around. So just me and my brother here locally. He's got 2 daughters that are actually in the business, Jessica and Sam. Hey, Jess and Sam. And then
they're agents.
Yep, Jessica's an agent. Sam is in the back office.
Okay.
Helps that grow here.
Nice.
So it truly is a family. Truly is a family affair. So
is your dad still working?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the patriarch, just kind of overlooking things.
He's the OG, we call him, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he's got such a wealth of knowledge. We're just very fortunate to have him around and to be able to learn from what he's done and just have his guidance. It's phenomenal. So he lives in Madeira Beach too, so I'm fortunate to get to see him.
That's awesome.
There too. So we're going to celebrate him a lot this weekend. So,
well, you guys have an amazing weekend. It sounds like this should be a blast. The Beggins Bash this weekend.
Yes.
Last thing I have for you, Jess, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, maybe it's an agent who listened today and was just loved the kind of the organizational style, I would call it, that you described, that you guys have really worked hard to establish, or just wanted to pick your brain a little bit with your years of experience in the business, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you, Jeff?
I am more than happy. I do it all the time, and that's kind of, as we talked about, it's kind of the passion to do that. So You can get me on Instagram, Facebook. Just Google me, Jeff Beggins, Century 21 Beggins. And tap my cell phone is all over the place. Call me directly. And I'm happy to help guide and do whatever I can to help you guys live a big ass smile lifestyle. That's what we're here for.
Is that like the catchy motto right there? Big ass smile lifestyle?
It is because it resonates with everybody. So, and if you're not, there's a difference between a smile and a big ass smile.
For
right?
sure, yeah.
So smiles are kind of smirky bullshit, but the big ass smile you can't fake. It's like, yes, that's what I want.
Genuine, yeah.
Genuine, like what really makes you happy. So if you're having trouble finding that and need a little help, and if we can help, we're happy to do that. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to end the episode the way we always do, which is with a challenge to take action, right? I know we talk about that if you don't do something, even when you take the time to listen to this podcast, maybe you're watching us live through Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening to this through any of our podcast platforms, what's one thing that you can do from this conversation that's going to propel you forward so that you can build momentum? Maybe you need to pick up that book that Jeff mentioned, Creating Sales Philosophy might be a great step in the right direction, or maybe just reach out to someone like Jeff. I mean, his conversation, I hope it gave you the impression that he has a lot of knowledge and wisdom about not just the real estate market, but the dynamic of building teams, right? And how to get high performance functioning teams to thrive. And, whether it's, I know we talked a lot about mindset and the importance of that, and being a part of an organization that supports you and being able to set the right mindset, and then understanding your goals, creating your goals, and then knowing exactly the steps needed to accomplish those dreams, right? So sounds like Jeff has built an organization that really supports its people in that way. Maybe you're not feeling that support, right? Wherever you might be, and you need to have a conversation with him or someone similar to be able to see where you can find that support. But do something, right? Take a step in a direction that's going to propel you forward personally and professionally. And if you do that, then this time would be worth it that you invested into this podcast. If you don't already subscribe, just click the button below so that you get notified every time we drop a new episode, which we do every week. We've 60-something episodes now, and we're not stopping anytime soon. So we'll drop a new one every single week for you to continue bringing the goods. And of course, follow us on all of our platforms, as well as our Top Producers Nation program, which is designed to help all agents.
Hi, I'm Troy Walseth with
Producers,
Walseth Team.
and we're excited to what that's going to mean and bring in the months and the years to come. So thanks again for being here, Jeff. It was awesome to have you as a guest, and we will see, of course, on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. Check you later.
Hi, I'm Troy Walseth with Walseth Teams with Keller Williams in Pinellas County, Florida. We are here at a Real Producers event, learning with the top agents in the country about how to succeed in any market. And I love Real Producers because you have an opportunity to talk to some of the top agents in the area, and they always do a great event.